Welcome to the channel, everyone. You asked us to do a deep dive into Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, and, well, here we are.
We've really sifted through this classic for you.
Yeah, exactly. We want to bring you the most compelling insight, so get ready for a pretty quick but hopefully thorough look at this incredible story.
It all starts in Macomb, Alabama, doesn't it? This tired old town right in the middle of the Great Depression.
Right. And everything is seen through the eyes of Scout Finch, who's just a young girl when the story kicks off.
And you meet her family pretty quickly. There's her dad, Atticus, who's a lawyer.
A really principled lawyer.
Definitely. And her older brother, Jem, and then their friend Dill comes to visit in the summer.
Dill's arrival kind of stirs things up, doesn't it? He gets the kids focused on the mystery next door.
The Radley place, yeah. It's this house where Boo Radley lives, this recluse nobody ever really sees.
And the kids are just fascinated, obsessed almost.
Well, yeah, there are all these wild rumors floating around about Boo. You know, like Miss Stephanie Crawford loves to gossip about him stabbing his dad with scissors.
Classic small-town rumors. And the kids, they dare each other to touch the house. They try leaving notes.
That whole attempt with a note on the fishing pole, it's pure childhood. That mix of fear and, wanting to know.
Wanting to connect, maybe.
Could be. Trying to understand what's different, what's hidden away.
Then Scout starts school, and, it's not smooth sailing.
No, her teacher, Miss Caroline, she has these very specific, newfangled teaching methods.
And she does not like that Atticus has already taught Scout to read.
Right. It's Scout's first real brush with, the adult world's expectations and sometimes strange logic.
And school is also where we meet Walter Cunningham.
Ah, yes. Walter and the Cunninghams. Their situation really highlights the poverty of the time, but also their pride. They pay debts with, hickory nuts, stove wood.
Stuff they have, yeah. Atticus really respects them for it.
He does. And Scout learns a big lesson, thanks to Walter, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah. When Walter comes for dinner and pours syrup all over his food, Scout makes a comment.
And Calpurnia, their cook, she pulls Scout aside and gives her a real talking to about respecting other people's ways.
It's a powerful moment. Calpurnia is such a key figure.
Absolutely. She's more than just the cook. She's a guide, a bridge between worlds for those kids. That lesson about Walter is fundamental for Scout.
While all this is going on, there's still the Boo Radley mystery, and then they start finding things.
The gifts in the knothole.
Right.
In that old oak tree on the Radley property.
Little things, like chewing gum first, then pennies.
Indian head pennies, yeah. And then, soap carvings that look like them, a spelling medal, a broken pocket watch.
It just adds fuel to the fire, doesn't it? This idea that maybe Boo isn't the monster they imagined. Someone's watching them.
It's a silent conversation almost, a little bridge from his isolation to their world. Very poignant, actually.
Then something really unusual happens in Macomb it snows.
Which is a huge deal there. And Jem and Scout, what do? They build a snowman.
But not just any snowman. It looks suspiciously like their neighbor, Mr. Avery.
Hey, yeah. A bit of mischief there. But then things get serious that night. Miss Maudie's house catches fire.
The whole town turns out. It's chaos. And in the middle of it all, Scout realizes she's got a blanket around her shoulder she didn't have before.
And Atticus points out, very quietly, that Boo Radley must have put it there. Another silent act of kindness.
Protecting her without anyone seeing. It really changes how you see him.
Definitely. Then there's the whole difficult situation with Mrs. Dubose.
Oh, Mrs. Dubose. The meanest old lady in town, basically. Jim loses his temper and destroys her camellia bushes.
Right, and his punishment is he has to go read to her every day after school for a month.
Which seems like pure torture at first. She's awful to them.
She is. But Atticus later reveals the truth behind it. Mrs. Dubose was fighting a morphine addiction.
And she was determined to kick it before she died. The reading sessions were part of her struggle.
Exactly. It was about her finding courage and freedom in her own way. It completely reframes her character.
And that single white camellia she sends Jem after she dies.
Wow. It's a complex, isn't it? A symbol of, perhaps, forgiveness. Or maybe just her fierce spirit. Atticus calls it a sign of real courage.
Around this time, Atticus has to leave for a bit for the state legislature.
Yeah, and Calpurnia decides to take Jem and Scout with her to her church. First Purchase African ME Church.
Which is a totally different experience for them.
Oh, absolutely. Scout notices the differences, sure, but also the similarities, the singing, the collection, the sermon. But the big thing is seeing Calpurnia in her own community.
She hears Calpurnia talking differently, using what Scout calls nigger talk to fit in.
And Scout realizes Cal leads this modest double life, navigating between the white world of the Finches and her black community. It opens Scout's eyes to the complexities of race and identity in Maycomb.
And then, as if things weren't complicated enough, Aunt Alexandra arrives.
Oh boy. Atticus's sister. She comes to stay, ostensibly to provide a feminine influence for Scout.
Which basically means trying to turn Scout, who's a total tomboy, into a proper little lady.
And she brings all her ideas about fine folks and family streaks and social standing, very different from Atticus's values.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't approve of the Finches associating with people like the Cunninghams, calling them trash. Big clash there.
Creates a lot of tension in the house. Alexandra represents that ingrained, traditional, often prejudiced Southern society.
While all this family drama is happening, Dill suddenly reappears.
Under Scout's bed. He's run away from home.
Yeah. And his reason. He feels like his mom and new stepfather just don't really need him around.
Kind of heartbreaking. Shows that kids have these deep feelings, even if they can't always articulate them well. He feels more at home with Jem and Scout.
Things really start heating up in town around the Tom Robinson case. Atticus is defending him.
And Tom is a black man accused of raping a white woman, Mayella Ewell. In that time and place, that's explosive.
The tension builds, and one night a mob gathers outside the jail where Tom is being held. They intend to, lynch him.
This is a terrifying scene. Atticus is there, sitting outside the jailhouse door, trying to prevent it. Just him against them.
Until Jem, Scout, and Dill show up, they weren't supposed to be there.
No. And Scout, in her complete innocence, doesn't really grasp the danger. She sees Mr. Cunningham, Walter's father, in the mob.
And she just starts talking to him about his entailment, about Walter just being a kid.
And it completely disarms him. She reminds him of his humanity, of his connection to Atticus. The mob just melts away.
It's an incredible moment. A child's innocence diffusing adult hatred.
It really is. Then comes the trial itself. The whole town turns out.
We hear from Sheriff Hectate first. His testimony about Mayella's injuries seems a bit inconsistent. Was it her left eye or her right eye that was bruised?
Right, that becomes crucial later. Then Bob Ewell, Mayella's father, testifies. He's crude, arrogant, clearly lying.
Admits he didn't even call a doctor for his daughter.
Which raises immediate red flags. Then Mayella herself testifies. She seems frightened, confused, maybe coached. Her story keeps shifting.
But the core testimony is Tom Robinson's.
Yes. He speaks honestly, calmly. He explains that Mayella made advances toward him, and he tried to refuse her politely.
And he points out the crucial physical evidence. His left arm is totally useless, ruined in a cotton gin accident years ago.
Which means he physically couldn't have inflicted the bruises on the right side of Mayella's face, as she claimed.
But he makes one mistake, doesn't he, socially speaking?
He says he felt sorry for Mayella, a black man feeling sorry for a white woman. In that courtroom, in that town, that was seen as an unacceptable transgression.
Despite all that, Atticus gives this incredibly powerful closing argument.
He appeals to reason, to justice. He points out the lack of medical evidence, the contradictions, the Ewell's motives. He argues that in the courts, all men should be treated equally.
You feel like, surely they have to acquit him. The evidence is overwhelming.
But they don't. The jury comes back with a guilty verdict.
It's devastating, especially for Jem. You can just feel his world crashing down, the injustice of it all.
Yeah, his faith in the people of Maycomb, in fairness, it's just shattered. And you see the quiet dignity and sadness of the black community in the balcony. They knew, but it still hurts.
The story doesn't end there, though. Bob Ewell feels like he's won, but he's also been humiliated by Atticus in court.
So he holds a grudge. He confronts Atticus, spits in his face, threatens him.
And Atticus just takes it, says he'd rather take it himself than let Ewell take it out on his kids. Tells Jem that Ewell needed to get it all out of his system.
It shows Atticus' understanding, but Aunt Alexandra is worried. She feels like something bad is still coming.
And she's right, because then they get the news about Tom Robinson.
Horrible news. He tried to escape from prison during the exercise period and was shot. Shot 17 times.
It's awful. Jem is beside himself. It ain't right, Atticus, he keeps saying.
And Atticus explains Tom just lost hope. He couldn't face the injustice anymore. It's another layer of tragedy driven by prejudice.
Then, fast forward to Halloween night. There's a pageant at the school.
Scout's dressed as a ham. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, but the walk home afterwards, it's dark. Jem and Scout are alone.
And they hear someone following them. Then they're attacked. Viciously.
It's chaotic, terrifying. Jem's arm is badly broken. Scout is tangled in her costume.
And then suddenly, there's someone else there, someone carrying Jem home.
It's Boo Radley. He saved them.
He fought off the attacker. When Sheriff Tate arrives, they find Bob Ewell dead under the tree where the attack happened. He has a kitchen knife stuck under his ribs.
Atticus immediately thinks Jem must have done it, in self-defense. He wants the truth to come out.
But Sheriff Tate pieces it together differently. He understands it was Boo who saved the children and killed Ewell in the struggle.
But Tate makes a crucial decision. He insists Bob Ewell fell on his own knife.
Why? To protect Boo, bringing shy, reclusive Boo Radley into the limelight, making him a hero, subjecting him to inquiries. Tate sees that as a cruelty. Let the dead bury the dead, he says.
It's a kind of moral justice outside the courtroom, protecting the Mockingbird, really.
Exactly. And then finally, Scout sees Boo Radley clearly, standing in her house.
She's shy at first, but she understands he's not a monster. He's pale, timid, gentle.
He just wants to see Jem make sure he's okay.
And then Scout does something incredibly mature. She walks him home.
Just across the street.
And
And as she stands on the Radley porch, looking out at her street, her neighborhood,
she sees everything from his perspective. For the first time, she realizes all the things he must have seen from that window over the years.
and she thinks about the gifts, the blanket, him saving them, and how they never really gave him anything in return.
It's a beautiful, quiet moment of understanding. She's finally stood in his shoes.
Which brings us to, why should people still read this book today?
Well, I mean, it's just such a powerful story about prejudice, isn't it? And about justice, or the lack of it.
Absolutely. And empathy. Learning to see things from another person's point of view, that's huge. Plus, courage. Not just physical courage, but moral courage, like Atticus shows.
And it tackles social class, growing up, losing innocence, all through these incredibly memorable characters. Atticus, Scout, Jem, Boo. They really stay with you.
They really do. It paints such a vivid picture of the American South at that time. But the themes are timeless. It makes you think about right and wrong, about how complicated people are.
It definitely gives you a lot to chew on, long after you finish the last page.
For sure. It's
Yeah.
classic for a reason.
So there you have it, our deep dive into To Kill a Mockingbird. We really hope this sparked some new thoughts, or maybe just made you want to pick it up again.
Or read it for the first time.
Yeah. Now, we want to hear from you. What book should we dive into next? Let us know down in the comments.
We'd love to get your suggestions.
And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, please do subscribe to the channel for more literary explorations like this one. Thanks so much for joining us.